Hello and welcome to the Tim and Maggie, Magnus and Maggie, Tim and Maggie radio hour. I said Magnus and Maggie because we just finished Renfest. And I'm wearing my costume glasses because I forgot my regular glasses, so you get to see me look silly.
I'm wearing costume glasses because I wear them all the time.
Yeah, he wears them all the time. It's always the
always
same.
In character.
Yes, always. Yeah, quite a character.
Because I don't have a real personality.
No, I'm the only one with a real person. Oh my god. I'm just goofy. All right. He's a character and I'm a goofball. Hey, that works. So, guess what I did?
What?
I made up...
Something goofy.
Something goofy, I did. I made up a piggyback song.
Oh, really? Like the one that made you an internet star about the counties of West Virginia?
Yes, like that one. It's the same tune, too. I'm lame. I use the same melody. Yankee Doodle. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Is it funny?
It's not funny.
Well, is it stupid?
I think so.
Good.
Yes. So I met one of the two requirements for a Maggie piggyback song, and I did it to the tune of Yankee Doodle, which is the same as my state song, but it works.
Does it teach us something?
It teaches. It can teach something. It's actually hard for me to sing it because I didn't learn it this way, so it's hard for me to wrap my brain around it. But it's a circle of fifths. So this video is going to start out as a review of the circle of fifths, and we're going to see where we go. Are you ready?
That's important. That's a lifetime career building skill.
It is. Memorizing the circle of fifths and the harmonic series is a lifetime skill. If you cannot do it, you should do it. So, and this is just major keys. You ready?
All right,
here we go. It goes like this. C, G, D, A, E, B, F sharp, C sharp. Then we go the other way around. C, F, B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat, G flat, C flat. The last three are enharmonic.
That's awesome.
It doesn't rhyme, but it's awesome. So what I've done is I started at the top of the circle of fifths, and I went to the right in fifths, C, G, D, A, and et cetera, and then I said the other way around, so I went back to the top where the C is, and I went the other direction with fourths, and the last three in each line are the enharmonic equivalents at the bottom of the circle. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Good.
Move over Irving Berlin.
Now, is there anything else I need to say about how I sang the order of them and everything? Do we have that?
Well, people will need to picture that as going sharps on the right side and flats on the left side.
Yes.
And having them meet at the bottom.
Yes.
Three. If you can picture a circle.
Yeah.
Where C is the very top and F sharp, G flat is the very bottom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the bottom of the circle of fifths is where they overlap. Those are the enharmonics. So the enharmonics are C sharp, D flat, F sharp, G flat, and B and C flat. Those are the enharmonic crossovers at the bottom of the circle. If you don't know what that means, go back and watch my video on the circle of fifths.
Now, every scale has 7 notes. We could call them do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can't have more than 7 sharps or 7 flats. It becomes too complicated, it's not useful, and it makes very little sense.
Yeah.
So there are 7 sharp keys, 7 flat keys, 1 key with no sharps or flats, so there's a total of 15 keys. 3 of them are at the same location on the piano, therefore called enharmonic.
Enharmonic.
And it would do a person good to understand that expression, enharmonic.
Enharmonic. And on the piano...
It'll get you a job.
It'll get you a job. On the piano, those
Selling apples.
Selling apples, yeah. On a piano, those keys are basically equivalent. You can swap one for the other. And in most of the modern world, they are equivalent.
And there lies the rub. Making them equivalent is a little bit of a fudge.
Yeah. So before equal temperament, they weren't necessarily equivalent. And before equal temperament, each key could have a different color because the whole and half steps were different sizes than an equal temperament. And so the leading tones were different depending on what key you were in. The half steps were different sizes. The thirds were different sizes. Can you comment on that with leading tones or...
When Alexander the Great invaded the kingdom of King Gordius knew he was coming and knew he didn't have an army that could stand up. So he tied a giant knot in a tree out of an immense rope and figured that he could get out of it by challenging Alexander the Great to undo the knot, which no one could really do. He said, if you can undo the knot, you can have my kingdom. And Alexander the Great said, no problem. He took his sword and cut the knot in two and says, you're mine. And that is the analogy for solving a problem by cheating.
I like it.
And equal temperament is cheating.
Yeah.
Solving an insolvable, difficult problem with the unrealistically easy solution.
Mm-hmm.
Just pretending it's not so.
Mm-hmm. So there are two things. There was a time when equal temperament was definitely not the preferred way to do things because you could get that change of color when changing keys. And there are pieces of music that were written for dissonant keys. I'll try to come up with the one I'm thinking of and put it in the comments below if I find it. But there was a piece that someone just recently told me about where it was written for a non-equal temperament in a key with like a lot of sharps or a lot of flats. I think a lot of flats, I don't remember. But it was very dissonant. It was very dissonant. And it was a piece written about, it had a subject, about the loss of someone's loved one. And if you play it in equal temperament, it's fine. You know, there's nothing wrong with it. But if you play it in non-equal temperament in that key, the pain, you know, is more easy to feel because it sounds, the dissonance is so much greater. It's a little bit more painful to the ear, you know?
The example of that given in Grove's dictionary is a Francois Couperin Magnificat, where he goes to the Neapolitan and he bemoans the fact that someone played it in equal temperament because in mean tone the Neapolitan was so much more laden with pathos and matched the text he was setting better.
They're not going to know what a Neapolitan is.
It's a chromatic chord that one often finds in a point of arrival cadence in a piece, and it's a pretty common Baroque device. And equal temperament, say you're in the key of C, it would be a D flat major. In equal temperament, it sounds the same as the C or the F or the C major.
It's just another chord. Right, it's not special.
In mean tone, it shakes your teeth loose.
Yeah. Oh, I should make a video of that. I might do that. You know, I do have a video, an old video, where I went around the circle of fifths in mean tone on a piano. But I might come up with some musical examples other than that to show the difference. Not today, though.
And that's another thing you can learn from the circle of fifths. The further you go around the circle away from the key you started on, the more you get dissonances, unless you're equal temperament, then they're all the same.
Right.
But if you're in a just or a mean tone or any of the older attempts at tuning systems for keyboards, the further you get away from your original key, let's say you start in C. We always give examples in C because they're simple. The further you get from C, which D flat would be as far as you can get from there.
Yes.
That Neapolitan chord would be a D flat. The further you get from that C, the more out of tune it's going to sound. And the early Baroque performances of pieces written with that in mind are much more effective when you keep that in mind. The further you get away, the more angst and dissonance and need for resolution that you can
Yeah. So if you're tuning a piano, notice when you're tuning a piano, if you set a temperament, we typically start on either F or A or even C. I know people who start on C. But we're tuning...
What's wrong with those people?
we're tuning... Our tunings focus on, kind of a white key first, and if we were tuning to a non-equal temperament, we would have some cleaner fifths, possibly, depending on the temperament, with C, F, G, and even A. And therefore that the commas, the Pythagorean comma, the syntonic comma, or whatever you want to call it, there's some videos I posted about those, I think. The commas have to be pushed somewhere. And so then D flat, which is the key just above C, but in our tuning sequence and in the circle of fifths, it's down lower. So that's
it's
what
actually a long ways from C.
It's actually a very far way. That's what I wanted to explain. So on the circle of fifths and in our tunings, that D flat would be very far from C by the time we tuned it, and we're pushing our mush that direction. So it's going to be whatever interval includes that note is potentially more dissonant. It depends on what interval you're playing, though.
But it would very much help a tuner to think of key relationships on a circle of fifths as being linear. That if you start on F, or you start on A, or you start on C, A being the standard in the United States anyway, 440. The further you get from there, the more issues there's going to be.
Yeah.
If you start with A, 440, clean, straight up, perfect, by the time you get to E flat or A flat, or G sharp,
it's going to be rough.
D sharp, then your issues will increase.
Yeah, if you're not in equal temperament. Yeah.
And the whole idea of the Gordian knot is that you distribute that error. That's how you cheat. You distribute that error so that you're not getting farther away.
Mm-hmm.
You have to go a tiny bit flat each fifth.
Yeah, which makes our fourths wider, which I made a video about. But it helps everything fit with equal temperament. So, another thing, I think, I said two things. I'm trying to remember the second thing. I think it was leading tones. Okay, so if we are writing music, even in equal temperament, because not all music is played on the piano. Okay, we have violins, we have non-fretted instruments that can, and frankly, wind instruments. I bend pitch all the time on the flute, and I don't always play perfectly in tune. I'm not, the top virtuoso in the world or anything, but I do adjust my pitch to try, like a singer does, to have more pure intervals. Singers will do that more naturally.
I was going to say, a good choir has a sense of this.
Yes, and so they're not in equal temperament. So yes, the piano is stuck. You can't retune on the fly. But there are other instruments that exist, not just the piano. So leading tones are still important. And an A flat and a G sharp are not always the same pitch. On a piano in equal temperament, they are. But can you speak as a composer about how some leading tones are used and how a non-equal temperament would exaggerate that effect?
Sure, in that J.C. Bach C minor sonata, which probably is his most famous piece nowadays.
Yeah.
There are scales that lead up and different scales that lead down. Equal tempered, you miss the drive of those lines.
Mm-hmm.
And if you were to hear that piece played with a mean tone tuning, you would feel some more direction to the music.
Mm-hmm.
And as an orchestral player, we would tune differently when it was a piano concerto or an accompanied piano piece or accompanied harp piece, organ piece, or whatever. We were to the string section would tune differently. You'd want to tune your open strings equal temperament.
Yeah. Whereas if a violin is completely on its own, they're going to tune more pure fifths.
And if you want to start a big Dodge City barroom style fist fight, you can go to a string quartet rehearsal and suggest one or the other that you should tune equal temperament, open strings, or you should tune pure fifth open tuning. and then just stand back. And pretty soon there'll be chairs flying and, broken bottles and all kinds of things.
I don't think it's that way anymore, but it was. It really was. I've witnessed it. He's not kidding. It used to be. Oh my gosh. So if you were writing a piece, why would you choose a particular sharp or flat over that enharmonic equivalent?
Well, for a composer, that gets to be a touchy-feely thing. It's a sense, the range that you want your material to lie in is one thing. But also, Beethoven himself talks about the different colors of the different keys. That's pretty subjective.
Okay. As a flute player, if I'm playing a contemporary piece that can use both G sharps and A flats, if I'm reading that they're written in a context, each one is in a different context. They're leading somewhere. G sharp is more likely leading to A. Where was I? G sharp. Yeah, is more likely leading to A. A flat is more likely leading to G.
Right, and you would write it that way because your orchestral performer or your singer is going to expect that flat to head down or the sharp to head up. That's once again a little subjective if you're talking equal temperament. But a real overtone series half step, the 15-16, is actually quite large, and a pure fifth, circle of fifth half step is 256 over 243 is actually very, very small. And those are different intervals. And the 15-16 is going to give you a downward sense, and the 256 over 243 is going to give you a driving upward effect. Like when you hear something out of tune and you want to tune it.
Yeah.
So that's out of tune, you want to change it. You feel it's disturbing. You want to fix it. It beats like crazy. So a tiny half step that would be in the Pythagorean scale would be more precipitous to resolve.
Yeah. So like do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti. Do. You want that do. You want that. So non-equal temperament exaggerates that effect. Do, ti, la, sol, fa, mi. Re, do. It exaggerates the leading tones. Does that make sense?
Right.
Okay, good.
That's exactly it.
Does that make sense?
And that appears to be somewhat subjective as well, depends on context. But it can be enhanced by the size of the interval. You can't do that on a well-tempered keyboard.
Right. It's not possible. So we lose a little bit, but what we gain is
being able to play with 10 fingers.
What we gain is being able to change keys fluidly. So we do lose color, but we gain the ability to add more sharps and flats without as much dissonance, which can be good or bad depending on what the goal is of the composer or the musician.
Think about a good blues performer playing blues guitar, and they bend the string to get that feeling that something is going to happen, something is moving, something is blue, and something is wrong with the soul that needs to be repaired. Or the music of India, where they have instruments like a sitar or a veena, where the frets are lifted and you can press down, and you can change where that half step is and where it goes. On a sitar, you can bend the note up to a third, right? Major, minor? Yeah.
How far, major or minor?
It depends where on. The
right.
frets that are lower are bigger, so you can bend them farther.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
But you'll get against a drone, which is traditionally, they say it's traditionally a C sharp, is the Saruti drone in Indian music, and you'll get the raga player hitting on the D just above it.
Okay.
And pull it up to the C sharp, and it makes you lift out of your chair when you hear it.
Same effect.
Very, very powerful
Same
effect.
Yeah, that's cool. Okay.
Out of tune isn't necessarily bad. It can be extraordinarily expressive.
Yeah. All right, so I'm gonna review my song again.
All right. We could do some stupid here.
Yeah, we need some stupid. I was singing again.
Yeah.
I apologize for my singing.
A good episode of Stupid can enlighten the soul.
Yes. Blessed are those who can laugh at themselves, for they shall never cease to be amused. So let's see. I'm trying not to mess this up. C, F. See, I already messed it up. C, G, D, A, B, F sharp. No.
Yeah, you messed it up.
It's not how I think about it. It's terrible. Okay. C, G, D, A, E, B, F sharp, C sharp. Now we'll go the other way around. C, F, B flat, E flat, E flat, D flat, G flat, C flat. The last three are enharmonic. So there's a song. You can memorize your circle of fifths with this song.
I think you said E flat twice.
Did I say? Dang it! I went off the road.
That's a pretty stretched
Okay.
fifth.
I'm gonna try it again. Wait, let me get out of the way of this car. Hold on. It's hard to do this while you're driving. That's my excuse. I'm sticking to it. Okay. C, G, D, A, E, B, F sharp, C sharp. Now I'll go the other way around. C, F, B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat, C flat. G flat, C flat. The last three are enharmonic. I did it better the first time. Just rewind the video and go watch that first one. You want me to try again? I'm not going to try again.
We are taking our lives in our hands to bring you this information.
I just thought of one more thing. I was going to end the video now, but I want to go over one more thing.
What's the guy in your blind spot?
Thank you. Well, maybe we should wait. We'll make that another video. I was thinking about minor keys. I'm going to make that a new video.
If this is the last video, you know what happens.
Okay, I'm going to try one more time, then we'll stop. You ready? Okay. This is dangerous. I'm going to laugh us off the road. I'm driving. Okay. C, G, D, A, E, B, F sharp, C sharp. Now we'll go the other way around. Slow down. C, F, B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat, G flat, C flat. The last three are enharmonic. Did I get it?
You did.
I did.
And lived.
I lived. I haven't wrecked us. Oh, all right. Are we done?
I'm done.
We're done. All right. Oh, I'm talking like that. We just did a run fest, so we have to be in a Scottish accent all weekend, and it's not hard. It's hard. It's very difficult. All right. So we'll see you the next time.
Carry on.
Carry on.